I'm a UK architect, 20 years experience. I'm going to watch the latest series of Grand Designs. Let's do it.
If you cannot, for love nor money, find yourself a plot of land to build on, then I suggest you stop looking and instead turn your attention to
There's
the
Big Kevin.
foreshore. That bit
He's getting
of
old
the
now,
river
isn't he?
between water and earth. That nether space where planning and building control regulations are sort of a bit of a grey area. And that gives you carte blanche. That gives you a blank canvas to build your dream on. In the middle of the city, for example, super accessible. You could do a houseboat or a floating home, which, given sea levels, I mean, could be kind of...
Kevin giving us the hard sell that
Wow.
building a house
Anything not to like, can you?
on the shore of a river or the sea is a good idea.
What's the... This happens twice a day?
You know, I've been just too busy this year. I've not seen any episodes of Grand Designs this year. So I'm quite looking forward to this, catching up.
Howard, an architect, and his wife Sarah, an interior designer, have spent the last 30 years creating a series of challenging homes for themselves and clients in the unlikeliest of places.
Well, this is a good start. Should be the dream scenario where you've got
on the Isle of Wight,
qualified
was a radio
architect,
station during the
an interior
Second World
designer, and they're both a couple.
So
They're ready to build a
project
dream
is
home,
something
I
that's
guess.
Almost unimaginably difficult, and everybody else looks at it and just thinks, "Oh my God, that's just impossible." But it has some sort of spark of, excitement, interest, an amazing view or an incredible location.
So most architects actually dream of doing this. They get to a stage in their life where they've got the finance, the experience, the courage, the boldness to go and build something just for them. No client telling you what to do, build just what they want. Although, my guess is the clients are sitting at this dining table right now.
There has been kind of a bit of a realisation in this that we've got to really get on and do the next project.
We haven't got a huge number of projects left in us, and each one's kind of precious.
So now, after 30 years of architectural experimentation, Howard and Sarah have hatched a plan to build an astonishing new home amongst this community of houseboats on a tidal riverbank, a stone's throw from the English Channel.
One day we were walking along the towpath by the river, and we both kind of stood there in a light bulb moment.
Sort of a wonderful community and life going on. Completely seduced by the kind of happy sounds on a summer's evening.
But also there's a twang of anarchy in the air that we like. There's something about that really appeals to us.
Very interesting. Most architects have an inbuilt need to build something permanent and lasting and leave a legacy. Whereas floating houseboats gives an air of
Next door to a
temporary.
1950s German torpedo boat sits a derelict World War II landing craft on a river plot that Howard and Sarah have bought for £255,000.
Wow! £255,000
restoration. So this old warhorse will need
for a bit of riverbed.
on
Wow.
their new floating home. Hello. Sarah, you're far too well dressed for this. This is spectacular. That's something in the state of total collapse. So you're going to build a new boat in its place?
Yes, it's a completely new structure.
So it's not going to be a boat, it's going to be a floating family home.
Built on a floating platform, it'll be a really highly engineered steel structure, and that will create an extraordinary living space on the top. That will be drenched in south sun and also have views out over the estuary. And then below decks, there'll be the cabins, our office, and a cinema room.
So you're an architect, you're a designer, you've worked all your lives together. You could design the most fabulous home on dry land. Why are you doing it?
We've spent all of our life looking for exciting projects and quietly at the same time becoming addicted to this location, which is amazing, where our children have grown up, and actually we were looking for the next real challenge, but actually within this location.
We see a thing, we fall in love with it, and we do it because we want to live.
Yeah, I can understand
All our
that.
projects
You
are
have
sort
a
of delight,
beautiful site,
finding an
and
opportunity that we think we can
if
transform into
that
something.
site, there's no vacant land available,
First challenge will be figuring out how
you want to live
extract
right on the edge of the
80-year-old land
river.
aircraft from the mud.
I can understand that
Disintegrating
as a
surface
driving
is likely to be a complete
point,
pain.
but
Next will
the
come
challenges are going to be
on-site
huge.
fabrication phase, where 16 enormous floats get made from polystyrene that's given a tough, weatherproof fiberglass skin. Also being made off-site is a hugely complicated steel frame. Now get this, shipmates. Howard and Sarah are going to assemble this new structure not in a boatyard, that would be normal, but on site, in stages on the ever-shifting tidal riverbed, in water for anything up to 3 hours a day.
What I'm interested to find out is, this bit's quite easy. You build a pontoon, then you build a lightweight steel frame on top. I've never quite understood how the services work when the tide's moving up and down. How do you get drainage out? How do you get fresh water in? Electricity, cables, telephone, telecoms, that kind of
The steel
thing.
frame will be braced like a truss bridge to provide rigidity in the face of floating rogue objects in the river that could get stuck under the structure at low tide.
Yeah, I can kind of see that attraction. It's kind of like
Stability.
having your own billionaire yacht, but it's actually your house and you've built it to your own spec.
Via an aluminium bridge that'll echo the steel frame design. Inside, below decks, a large.
It was a really cool yacht designed by Philip Stark.
And an office in the stern.
Reminds me of this.
Cinema room at the pointy end. A no-frills marine staircase will take you up to the main act. A magnificent vaulted steel space.
I wonder if,
Living, kitchen, and
because it's a
eating
boat
spaces, all
and it's not
generously
on
built,
land,
not least by a giant
whether that
triangular
means you
roof.
get relaxations in the building regulations
To the
for
rear, a large outdoor
thermal
deck
performance.
provide magical
You know, because I'm seeing steel on the outside, steel on the inside. The walls look quite thin,
while at the
so they're
front,
not
a
at the
huge
thermal
hydraulic
standard of
lifting window will access the
a
forward
normal
deck.
new build on land.
This is a
I wonder if that's quite a
wonderful
good
piece of Imagineering.
sneaky way of getting
As you'd expect,
away from
so many
lots of the
details
constraints,
yet to be
technical difficulties of building a real house.
Budget for the construction, can I ask?
So I'm in charge of the budget.
Right, let's pause this here a second. Right, let's guess. £220,000 for the land parcel already. They need a set down piece of land where they're going to deliver their materials. I guess they rent that, maybe? I don't know. And then this bespoke steel frame. Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult. I mean, nautical engineering supplies, people are insured to have materials for that type of purpose. It's a bit difficult, different from on land. So I would say they are another 400,000, which usually means they have a budget of half that, so 200,000. Let's see.
And 385 is my number.
Absolute upper limit of?
450, we start to feel uncomfortable.
Okay, and when can I come along and see a finished building?
2023,
Yeah.
18 months is a good ambition.
Book it in, Kevin, book it in.
And how's it paid for?
We sold our house
Yeah.
to find this silly project,
Yeah.
and now we're renting a house, luckily, just along the beach.
Cash, in other words. And can you get a mortgage?
Because you can't get a mortgage.
If-
yeah.
No, okay.
No.
You can't get a mortgage. Of
We've
course
been,
not.
yeah, we've been quite unmortgageable for a long time in terms of our projects.
So who's going to
Yeah, difficult. It means whenever you actually come to sell it, you're the number of people who can buy property which you can't get borrow a mortgage on, you can't borrow money from the bank on it. It reduces the number of
We don't
people
want to
eligible to
overcharge
buy
them. It's
your
incredibly
house
difficult to work
right
on.
down.
So we're looking at really a new
So as a
way
financial
of
decision,
building, which
not the
is
best.
gonna involve lots of prefabrication,
But at least their budget is sensible, their timescale's sensible.
basics of manual
They seem
work on the mud.
They seem very
Actually going through this
confident.
process has been
Architects,
really hard.
designer.
You know, if you said to me, you've got to use Howard and Sarah to design and build your home, Kevin, I would say brilliant. I love that, because they are so good at what they do, and they're such a team. But I think they've bitten off more than they can chew. And look at this place. They're not building on earth, dry land, or sand even.
not only building on water, they're building on mud, which is so unpredictable and subject to the tides ebbing and flowing twice a day. Oh, my Lord, there's far too much complexity here. It's impossible to predict how this project will go. I mean, all bets are off.
A few weeks later, Howard and Sarah have organised a motley crew of helpers to start demolishing the old landing craft, including their son, Ray.
I had to borrow some money off my mum
As an
and dad.
architect, this
Now
would
I'm
be
paying them
one of my
back
key
through
concerns
some,
is
work on the site.
you'd phone up a company and
Another
say,
helper is
hi
Angel,
guys, I want you to
who
come and
has a
build a
surprising
steel
link to the
frame
ship.
for me.
Collection to dispose. We
Is it
based
okay? No problem.
Probably from about
Whereabouts
the
is
age
it? Well,
of
it's
7
actually
and,
on a
2000
floating
moved out
barge
here.
in the middle of a river.
It's an
It's like,
interesting
okay, thank you, bye,
project
thanks
to
for
be part
asking.
of because
You're not
it's
interested.
physically taking
So
apart
your
my
number
childhood.
of,
you know, I guess there's some kind of like symbolic
suppliers
element
and
to that.
contractors
It's nice
reduces
that I am
right down,
involved. You know,
which
rather
usually
than
makes
just
it more
watching it kind
difficult
of
to get
come
good
apart from
prices.
afar.
They're discovering that dismantling a decaying 80-year-old stuck-in-the-mud landing craft is so slow. They're expecting it to cost 25 grand.
Labour's obviously the biggest part of it. It's people's time. The skips are phenomenally expensive, but you know, waste has to be got rid of carefully. We're recycling as much as we possibly can. I think we're about to get into the really difficult bit of the boat, the armour-plated hull. So I think we've probably got maybe a couple of months.
It does
Did she just say armour-plated hull?
3.5-metre high seawall and down some stairs. But wait, Howard has a new toy to help with that.
So this is my crane, the Skyhook Magic, lift anything anywhere. The economics are pretty simple. We're going to need this for probably a year and a half, including the demolition. So it costs £400 a week to rent something like this, and we chose to buy it for about £25,000. So this is what they call a pedestrian-operated crane. So it's all operated by a remote control, which is very
Wow, that's
simple.
brave. To actually buy your own crane when you've got no idea what you're doing.
On the phone, my crane man. It's obviously not very happy. Oh God, yeah, the cable's really tight. Yeah, it's not moving at all.
When Howard's not figuring out how to crane the old landing craft off the mud in pieces, the architectural wizard is racking his brains as to the kinds of materials that will be light enough to crane onto the mud.
So this is a life-size sample of the current standard technology for houseboat floats, which is a slab of polystyrene that's been covered in about ½ an inch, slightly more, of cement. So it's good stuff, it's durable, but its Achilles heel is that it takes a very light material and makes it incredibly heavy. So it'll be incredibly difficult to lift those concrete-covered floats over the wall.
Because of where the site is and where that tidal wall is,
Howard's going to wrap his float with
the material
something
choice of everything
fiberglass.
is determined by the crane he's bought, the capacity of that crane, how much weight it can lift, the physical size it can lift, how far it can stretch.
And that's polystyrene again, the same.
That's going to become a real driver
But as you can see, the
behind
whole
the
construction
design.
very light. It's bigger than the sample we had, but I can lift that on my own very easily. We can make them in a workshop, which means we can control the quality, and it also manages the costs, because we're not having to rent a huge shipyard to build the whole thing in one piece. But as far as we're aware, no one's actually used this technology to make a floating home before. So we're in the
It's a red flag.
fortunate position of being the experimenters.
The radical ethos of this project is hardcore self-build territory. But 2 months in, progress continues to be hamstrung by the old boat. Extracting it from the mud is still nowhere near finished.
The reality of actually taking it apart has been incredibly complicated. Just the metal plates have required all the rivets to be individually removed by angle grinding. You get into the sort of ritual of every morning you've got to get up and do a thing that you're not really enjoying doing anymore. it is draining our kind of energy.
I would have thought you'd have
It's really
got
hard as a couple
salvage companies who would have taken it away for the
Delaying construction of their
material
new home until
value
next
of it.
year is the last thing they
I guess not.
But that's starting to look increasingly likely.
There will be a time when
Be spending a lot of money on tools, a lot of money on
I'm not quite
blades,
sure when that will be.
because that's
Ideally, we
a
would like
very
to be getting on with the
domestic-sized
build before it gets too
saw
cold.
to be using on a
Really got to get this thing out,
military
before midsummer.
boat.
Right now, I hate this boat.
Near Worthing, wrestling the marooned landing craft from the mud ends up taking Howard and Sarah over 6 months, 3 times longer than anticipated. As a consequence, they've been forced to delay building their new home until next year.
Our original plan was to try and demolish the boat and start construction this year. And, we've decided to slow down the construction, actually defer the construction, and just concentrate on getting the boat out ourselves and do it slowly, and that's what we'll have to do.
Howard and Sarah are almost a full year into the project by the time they and their son, Frank, start fabricating the 16 enormous polystyrene floats at a workshop in Sussex.
Hold on a second. Shall I try and wedge it so it's not going to roll around?
Well, we're using about 200 cubic meters of polystyrene, which, polystyrene's light, but when you get to those kind of volumes, they weigh a lot. It's hard. We're going to stick them together with polyurethane glue.
That's right. The foundation of their home is being made from 20 grand's worth of polystyrene stuck together with 400 litres of polyurethane glue.
You put this on, and then you activate it just with a spray of water, and it starts to foam up. So the key thing is, from the moment we start spraying it, we've got to be pretty quick getting it all assembled and strapped together so we close the joints up nice and tightly.
Wow. Imagine the foundations of your
Quick
house
as you can, yeah, go.
relying on gluing polystyrene together.
Let's come back a bit. It's a really inaccurate block. We didn't think that, did we? Fuck me.
This always happens to me. You buy materials, get them delivered, you think they're all the exact same length, they've came from a factory, they must be, and it turns out they're not. They're all slightly different manufacturing tolerances.
They use a heat cutter to
Really annoying.
to the right shape.
Here it comes. Yes.
Finally, the floats are sealed. The bottom in a glass fibre and super strong polyurethane recipe developed by Howard.
Roll it down there.
The top with a fiberglass matting and an epoxy resin mix.
This will give tensile strength, but also make it nice and durable so we can walk on it while we're erecting the steel work.
It's hard to imagine 23 tons of steel sitting on top of all this polystyrene, isn't it? But that's exactly what's being fabricated down the road in Chichester, to some bewilderment.
The polystyrene obviously floats.
How do you
Steel
fix
obviously sinks.
the steel
So at some point they've got to
into
come
the
together
pontoon?
and hopefully
You know, normally a
float
steel
rather
frame
than
you
sink.
bolt
Hopefully the
into
engineers looked at that and
steel
worked all that
reinforcement
out, but,
within the concrete
it works.
foundation.
Polystyrene
How do you
doesn't
do that
seem
when your
like a solid
foundation
material.
is foam?
It doesn't help that constructing a
I
steel
know.
frame strong enough to withstand the impacts of rogue objects in the river below involves absurd levels of complexity.
Maybe it straps all the way around the
acute
pontoon,
obtuse
like a
angles,
belt,
everything's at
series of
different
belts.
They're all different. You've got two 33s there, and then you've got a 34, a 90, 56, 79. They're all different, and every drawing has a reference number.
These precision-cut angled sections then need steel plates fitting, again, all at different millimetre-perfect positions.
Or do you drill a hole,
34
put a
millimetres
rod
there,
in and
40
pour in
on
a
this side,
resin,
as per drawing.
polyurethane resin that glues those rods into the
Voila.
foam, and then your
Everything's double
steel
checked
goes on
before it goes
top.
out, before it's welded up, so we've tacked up now and it's checked and then ready to go. We're mad to do this job, really. Normally, we would supply and install a job. Howard was adamant that he was going to install it himself. We've just got to wait and see how they get on.
It's another red flag.
By the time the first floats and steel...
I like these. I like this architect and his wife, the designer. They're good, brave.
18 months into this project. Hey, you guys.
Hello.
Hi, Kevin.
By which
There we are.
point they'd hoped to be living in their new floating.
Giant surfboards delivered.
For getting them over the wall.
So these are upside down. We have to turn them over, and then one by one we'll hoist them over the wall into the mud. We haven't tried it yet. We haven't tried putting these on the mud and manoeuvring them, so we're not entirely sure. But we're not quite sure.
They've got to be in exactly the right spot
Lifting it without damaging it.
for the steel frame to fit.
Exactly, yeah.
Without cracking the...
Yes, one of the
The
things
glass
that's been keeping me awake at night
crust.
is how we get all those moving parts to come together.
Just strikes me you've got, thanks to the water and the mud, the tide, and even the wind, there's a risk there of the ties between the steel and this distorting, ripping perhaps.
We don't know it will work, and we probably won't know whether it's worked for another 10 years or so.
The experimentation here is beyond belief. A far cry from the tried and tested approach to building on water.
You would think there are tried and tested industrial pontoons that people use for constructing, you know, offshore oil platforms. There must be almost a modular pontoon they could have purchased.
Up and down the Thames a bit. We're probably one of the biggest houseboat builders in the whole of the southeast.
As a boat builder, would you ever be tempted just trying to build something in the water?
Never. I couldn't build out there in the elements. It'd be very inefficient. You know, you need a controlled environment.
What we've got to do is lift the platform up and turn it onto one side, drop it down to the floor, and then, of course, with a crane over to the river.
The crane's limited reach means the structure can...
I've done a good job on these panels. They look neat, tidy. You can see some like fixing holes that might answer my earlier question. Ah, okay.
So stressful, I think, this moment.
Right, Sarah, so can you concentrate on just, don't worry about that, just hold
Yeah.
your rope. Hold on. Okay. Good, well done, guys.
Ah, okay.
By early afternoon, their first mission is accomplished. The 4 floats sitting perfectly level and aligned on the
So they
mud.
seem to have a threaded rod going through and then a screwed on
First of many.
disc pad
But now they
to
need
compress.
to fit 9 steel beams on top of the floats to keep them aligned
Interesting.
before the tide comes in an hour.
Next phase is critical, getting the steel in, making sure that all comes together nicely. Mind your fingers. Yeah, well, we're trying to beat the tide now, so I think we've probably got an hour to get this together before the thing starts to float. And that's going to make it a bit more complicated than we want.
Wow, so this is the moment where you worry about every junction, how accurate all the drawings have been, I guess.
The first of the 9 beams is fitted within minutes.
I reckon that's pretty good.
It looks like a great fit.
But there's a problem.
That. It's the wrong way around.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, even though steel is prefabricated in factory, and it should just be a case of bolting it together, there's still just, you know, steelwork installers have got that bit of experience. The minders quick, and they double check, and they check things are the right way around. You know, they understand what sequence to tighten the bolts, so they've got a little bit of flexibility to bring it all together at the end. And doing that with the pressure of the tide coming in as an amateur it's a big ask. Stressful.
Somehow they've gone out of whack again. They're like a piece of shit.
And this is just the first of 4 floating sections. Near Worthing, as they battle the tides, it takes around 10 days for Howard and Sarah to complete the first of 4 floating steel sections, ready to be clad in these industrial panels. A sandwich of insulation filling and 2 skins of coated steel. Even now,
Okay, so it's insulated sandwich panels, which are kind of industrial building material. They're really efficient, actually very affordable. The big problem with them always is the junctions, because unless you're building a standard shed, and you can use the pre-made junctions for all the corners, the flashings, the roof and that. If you're building something as a bespoke shape, funny angles, you're going to have to DIY, home make, how to seal up those junctions. And that's normally where it goes wrong. Let's see.
Oh, it's good and tough, isn't it? The epoxy.
Yeah.
Nice surface.
Yeah.
Now, these cladding systems, which are used conventionally in bicycle and motoring equipment shops, what I like about this cladding system is that it's external skin, internal skin, and insulation all in one. And it just slots together.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's 6 or 7 trades all in one afternoon.
I know.
It's amazing.
I really like it.
And there's no painting.
Because it doesn't look so good on the inside of my local DIY store. But here, for some reason, it looks exquisite. So where we're stood, this area, that's the first stage.
That's the first quarter of the boat beneath us.
Of the 4 phases, we are stood in phase 1.
You are.
And then another, consequently, 2 more to arrive.
Yeah, I did a Cotswold barn conversion, and we used extremely long sheets of that material. But the challenge was when you try and cut in roof lights, when you try and cut through ventilation flues, it doesn't like it. It wants to leak, it wants to condensate. It relies on lots of mastic. It's not the most elegant.
Bingo.
Good job. Well done. But now they face another, more serious setback to getting watertight. Heavy storms have made Howard and Sarah realise they need permanent moorings before they continue cladding and glazing this hulking great structure.
Our temporary moorings aren't really big enough to prevent the whole boat flowing away, really. The boat's quite big, it's got a big side area, and if we're not fully moored, it'll blow away.
But getting permanent moorings designed, engineered and fitted is going to take time.
Just frustrating. Obviously, what we'd hope to do is get the whole thing enclosed before the worst of the winter started. There might come a point where we have to just shut up shop for the winter and try and mothball it. It should be a great shame.
3 months pass before the permanent mooring installation can finally begin.
OK, that's it, it's in.
All vital engineering to prevent their huge and heavy structure from...
Seems a bit strange. You think that was a known milestone that you had to have permanent moorings. It's maybe someone with more boating nautical knowledge has explained to them the wind shear.
Where hopefully we're finally
hopefully they can overcome it.
Get on with putting all the cladding on and move the whole project forward.
They only have a half-hour window to attach the steel brackets before the boat lands once more on the mud and another day is wasted.
It's caught. Is it caught over there? Probably not. I'll show you.
I would definitely drop my spanner in that water and not find it again.
With a further 3 moorings secured over the following few weeks, finally attention can return to getting the superstructure clad. And then glazed, including this extraordinary triangular roof light.
Here we go, Robbie. Beautiful. Well done.
As Howard and Sarah's toil on the riverbed enters a third year.
Your steel frame would need to be incredibly rigid, no twisting as the tide moves the boat, the waves, because any twists will just pop glass. So it must be a really rigid design structure.
Eyebrows.
My first reaction was, it's an extraordinary design that people would have to get used to and be puzzled about. More than modern, if there's a word for that.
Quite a shock, actually. But it is at the moment currently looking a little bit like a floating warehouse, I would probably say.
Well, will you look at that, eh? Is it a raft? I mean, is it a house?
The neighbours being very polite there.
His Majesty's flotilla of stealth frigates. Morning.
Morning.
Hi, Kevin. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. It's pretty.
You can see there the joints between the cladding. Still not addressed.
Like this for a reason.
Yeah.
That's purely for stability. So by bringing the sides in, we make sure the centre of gravity is over the centre of the base.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. How are you in terms of kind of programme?
so the whole mooring shenanigans probably cost us about 5 months.
God, that's a long time.
Frustrating. It is a long time. It's like Churchill said, when you go through hell, keep going.
I think at some point there was definitely why we're doing this.
What was the answer?
We're still searching for that one. Every few days.
It's too late to turn back now is the answer.
Why we're doing it, because this is an absolutely magical place. It does make sense. It is apparently insanity, but it's absolutely sensible.
Having built this mind-boggling, complex structure to withstand...
It doesn't look big enough for a family of 3, was it? No, 3 kids, yeah.
Time do they actually have? Think about doing everything you just spoke. All of that adds complication, which adds time. You do have a deadline, don't you?
We will be in by the 5th of July because our landlord wants us to move, and that is not so far away.
And
12 weeks.
More like 10. I reckon you need 4 months.
That's when we'll be a little bit more finished, but we will be through the door in 2 months.
10, 12 weeks.
So what we need is to be watertight.
No way.
To be able to get onto the boat and to have a bathroom for
Yeah.
starters. Ideally a kitchen.
The deadline approaches, which is why Howard gets cracking welding his own aluminium bridge that'll provide access from the riverbank.
This is really kind of critical now because to close the front of the boat up, we need to get rid of the temporary access, and that means putting the permanent access in, which means welding up this very big bridge section, which is quite a production in its own right.
Given the imminent...
Is that top priority? Would you not just make a simple timber thing whilst you finish the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the toilets? You haven't mentioned the drainage, how the drainage works. How does the drainage get back to dry land, or does it fill up a big tank and get pumped out?
Admit my age soon and buy some glasses.
Is grappling with how to install rectangular bathroom units into a triangular angled space.
Is it a real boat where a sewage boat service comes along and pumps you out every month? I don't know.
Meanwhile, Sarah's started a woodworking course in the evenings.
No. No, God.
To build some striking storage for their new home.
Are the angles correct or not?
I don't know.
And Howard is being Howard. Fabricating the hydraulic lifting window for the living space.
This section is the bit that's going to open up.
And conceptualizing an unusual kitchen island. Come collapsing ping pong table.
Fucking hell.
I do hope all this effort's worth it. I mean, Howard and Sarah's home.
It's off to the guy. I mean, come on. You've got to hand it to him. He's trying to do it all by himself.
Maybe some kind of peculiar floating warehouse. Spring is on the horizon in this small town on the south coast near Worthing. And it's 3 years since Howard and Sarah set about building a distinctively 21st century floating home amongst this motley
The timescale's doubled.
vessels on the tidal river.
Understandable, I think.
So, what's the new addition like?
Oh my word. Look what's just docked from outer space.
Well, there is absolutely a new kitchen.
It's looking pretty neat. The trim details are pretty good. The junctions.
Pointy end. What a sharp shape. I mean, it is architecture, this. It's floating architecture. And it is.
There's very little in the way of grills, ventilation.
That retail shed construction could look like this.
I wonder what all those little white pipes are sticking out. Quite a lot of them.
Now that it's been capped with that sharp aluminium trim. And Howard's homemade truss bridge is fit for a modern stealth frigate.
This looks like Darth
I've done very well. I'm impressed.
Goodness me, does it lift the place?
It looks neat.
It's no longer like visiting Grunge Central on the mud. It's more like visiting some secret naval base. Ahoy!
I bet that took a lot of time though, so it'll be interesting to see how much progress has been made on the inside.
What a thing! What a beauty! So first of all, how are you both?
Never better.
A little weary.
Yeah?
Very well, very excited.
Well, it's good to see you, Kevin, because this means it is the end.
It looks remarkable. This place transforms.
Yeah, there's an odd little gap there. Did you see that? Where the roof light met the two trims.
It's a high spring tide, so we're going to get probably 3 or 4 feet of water. So the boat will rise up. We'll probably see over the beach huts. The landscape will completely change. You'll be all at sea. We're governed by the moon, Kevin.
I mean, people go off and do, yoga in foreign countries in order to connect to the cycles of the planet and the universe. You've got it on the mudflats.
It is incredible. Come on in.
An elegant wedge sliced through the steel cladding.
Gorgeous. This is so radically different.
Yeah, so still a lot of work to do inside.
With tiger bamboo.
It's fabulous. It's like walnut. It's such an exquisite colour, isn't it? I'm standing in...
All the services are at first fix stage.
And half craft.
But this is just a prelude.
Well,
one thing I want to also know
so
is
simple.
Because up
how
Howard's
they
home-welded
ventilate the
aluminium
building.
staircase.
Because these
staircase
steel
widens,
cladding
good
panels,
grief.
completely
Is the
impervious.
main act glorious,
So they
soaring
don't allow the building to breathe.
Oh, goodness
Because if you
me.
go to your nearby department store, which uses this kind of cladding, you'll see in the ceiling huge ventilation systems extracting all that moisture created by us as humans and expelling it.
The kitchen in the centre is lean.
How are they stopping this building
with the
from
rear deck. While
condensating?
Steps at the prow is a dining area with a view of beach huts and the sea.
Just a fabulous place to breathe, move and enjoy.
Nice.
It feels joyful to me.
It's about how you extract the maximum joy out of any particular location, not getting in the way of that, making as little between us and the environment, really.
This space is also a showcase for Sarah's fine joinery talents.
These are beautiful.
This is the kind of pinnacle of my woodworking course so far.
So much finer than anything I've ever managed.
With some fine joinery tailored to fit a space.
So, what became of Howard's kitchen island come ping pong table?
This is the finished item.
Well, yeah, I think so, hope so.
How easy is it to work?
There's a hidden switch. So you can take it right up to kind of standing desk height.
You can.
I'm not sure why you need that. Do you need a kitchen island to go up and down? I don't know.
Very good for pastry.
Maybe you do.
Pizza rolling.
Good, but this is also, you've made this to the exact size of a table tennis table.
Yes.
Table tennis height.
Well, it's the full length.
There you go.
Kind of there. No, don't go trying too hard to beat me. Oh.
Nice rally.
Howard's engineering ingenuity is admirable.
Be interesting also to see how they're going to light the space. I'm not seeing any lighting.
How easy is it to lift? Because that's a huge piece of glass. Oh. Look. Oh my word, just straight up.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
How beautiful.
That bit of glass maybe weighs a ton.
Living space up here now.
This is Sarah's workshop.
Hey, it's a fold-down a workspace.
This will be my workshop, rather than going to a little workshop out the back.
Yeah.
Have a space that we can enjoy being in.
It's really clever.
Their conceptualizing ideas space, their design office, is back downstairs, overlooking the river, which, as the tide rises, also lifts the
Where's the kids? Maybe they've grown up and going to university. I don't know.
It is magic.
It kind of looks like a.
The
I guess what it is. It's like an architect's home work
wildlife here.
life
But you are
work
right in the middle
office.
of a town.
You know.
Yeah. The only thing it's really missing is a sofa.
Then we really wouldn't do any work.
At the other pointy end is a cinema room. Tucked into the ship's cosier heart are 4 cabins, including Howard and Sarah's.
It's a proper cabin.
Yeah.
Timber-lined.
Mirrored to sort of give the illusion of scale. Glitzy, spacey for the spacecraft effect.
Dig that, yeah, because it's a spacecraft you live in.
This home is a
It's a real
triumph
mix
of
inside,
architecture,
isn't it, of style?
engineering and imagination.
That space looks
But
cohesive.
it was supposed to take
It's all
just
kind
18
of
months to
industrial
build,
chic.
not 3 years, and meant
Bedrooms
to
were
cost
strange.
£385,000.
The entrance area is a bit odd.
How much in the end did you spend?
Right, pause.
Well.
Pause. Right. What the budget they thought was going to be 380 to 450 max. They've been delayed by a year to 18 months. That's extra rent. Sounded like they didn't know that the permanent mooring structure was required. I guess that would be about 50 grand probably. This, the same on rent maybe. I don't know. So we're now, I say we're north of 500,000. Let's have a look.
Well, I don't think we're finished, but we are at 465.
Okay. And it's taken longer, quite a bit longer.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you have to sacrifice 3 years of your life.
We've both given everything to this for 3 years. And
Which, if all it's done is driven a wedge between you as individuals, damaged the emotional relationship, created tensions and stress, arguments and pain, then it ain't worth it. But if, on the other hand, you emerge from this triumphant, stronger, better,
Yeah. Well, I think we are unstoppable when we're both wanting to achieve something. And that's a fantastic feeling. That feeling where you're really working together for a common goal is intoxicating, I think.
It's very scary to me to be putting your whole financial net worth into an object.
Doing any project, it's like doing 15
And
rounds.
especially putting it all into an object which will be very difficult to sell if you ever need to sell it.
Smile at you with a toothless grin, and it's like, is that
Because
all
people
you-
can't borrow money, they can't get a mortgage on it. It's like buying a caravan or a motorhome.
Patience and will and energy.
Special place, though. Special place. They've created a unique thing just for them.
Greater than the difficulty. It must be, because otherwise we'd be crazy to do it again, wouldn't we?
and perhaps even produce a little more happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff that absolutely is what we're about together.
Glues us together.
Yeah.
For Sarah and Howard, designing, making and building aren't just a means to an end. They are their way of living, of thriving. And alongside their talents, they have the necessary human qualities in spades: stamina, patience, will and energy.
So obviously this is...
Well, what do you think, guys? I think it looks exactly what it is, which is an architect and an interior designer couple who've created their dream home office. Their home looks like their kids are growing up, probably away to university, fleeing the nest, and they've just taken this opportunity to build something they've always wanted to build. The interior design, the finishes are all a bit mismatched for me, but we're not quite seeing the finished product. The ceiling's not complete. I still don't really know how the steel frame was fixed into the foam foundation. I don't know how they're getting water and power and drainage connections to the building. And yeah, there's still quite a few odd details on the exterior, difficult junctions for them to resolve. But hats off to them, you know. Scary, I think, to put all your money into that type of project, your full financial net worth. They've done it. They look happy. Well done to them.
Of course, it means twice the risk, but it also means twice the adventure.
Well, there you are, guys. I really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. If there's any other episodes you want me to watch, drop them in the comments, and also tell me what you thought about that video. Cheers.